Run them Julz fast, run them Julz fast, run them, fuck the slow mo.
Hey. Okay, we're good. We're on the air. This is Run the Julz podcast production, a special episode. Not really special. It's just like the first in a while episode of Hey Lady, You Call Him Dr. Jones. We're back for a midsummer heat check on movies and film and TV and whatever comes across mine or Jake's brain at this very moment. So I'm here as always. My name is Patrick Julian, and my wonderful co-host is back with me to talk about anything and everything. Jake Haddon.
How you doing, guys? Glad to be back. Missed you. It's been way too long. Way too long. Way too long. I think we were just talking about the last thing we've done was still yet to be up on the tube, so you can see that after this, the upfronts. Mm-hmm. Mike, I had a question for you right before we started, so let's just hop right into this. Let's just cut the fat. Yeah. Have we talked to each other since we've seen the Entourage movie?
Okay, this is a great way to start. I'm writing Entourage. I don't think we had. I remember, I think I saw it before you, because I saw it that weekend. Mm-hmm. With shout out to John Gomes and James Hodges. Saw it with those two hooligans and
racist.
And okay. At first, I thought you said rapist. It's like
no, no, I was talking about you.
They don't watch the pod, or they should. They should, but maybe Gomes does. Probably not though. So at first, I thought you said that, which is interesting because of something we can remind each other of off pod, and then I realized you said racist, but no, not hooligans in that regard.
We're getting right into it today. We're just right off the bat. Oh man, haven't missed a step. So
off and running.
I only saw it about I think maybe 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. With a shout out to Vinny Furcelli and Tim Eager, I believe. Anyway, Tim.
No, Tim.
No, Tim.
I want to get that GIF or something up on the split screen. Anyway, okay, no, all right. So yeah, you did see it, and I remember you asked. I told you I saw it like the next day, and you're like, "What did you?" You're like soft probing. You're like, "What did you think?" And I said, the best way I could have described it, which is what I'll say, and I stand by it, is the movie delivers on the promise of the TV show. So to break that down, basically, if you don't know the show, you haven't seen the show, the movie is just like one big like half season compressed into a 90-minute film. And it's all in the same line as what goes on in the 8 seasons of the series. So you go into the film expecting that and only that. If you go into the film expecting like, I don't know, a comedy anything else, or like a comedy like The Hangover, or like something, an R-rated comedy, like anything else, no, you're wrong. Stop. You have to kind of know what you're getting into with the show. One of the best things I thought that the movie did was the opening sequence with Piers Morgan, and it really helped anybody who hasn't seen the show not, have a problem watching the movie, because they basically laid everything out in that like Piers Morgan expose on Vinny Chase. They laid all the guys out. They explained who they were in a pretty succinct manner, kind of what they're about and everything. So by the time that's over, if I wasn't sitting with anybody who doesn't worship the television show, but
right, and I don't think anyone who went to see it in the theater doesn't worship the television show. I viewed it a lot like the Sex and the City movies. Like those movies didn't come out for the casual moviegoer. Like anyone seeing them, anyone paying $10, I mean at this point $12 to see a movie, you're gonna see what you want to see, and if you want to see Entourage, you're an Entourage fan. You're not just gonna be like, what's this Entourage thing about? You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, like you said, the first 2 minutes of the movie, I thought fixed all the problems I had with the last season. Like the last season wrapped itself up so picture perfectly and kind of just like shoved itself down the viewers' throats that I didn't like it that much. And then the way that they were just like, yeah, you had the shortest marriage in Hollywood. Oh, no, I checked and, Britney Spears did or something. And, like that marriage was nullified. Ari and his little fairy tale ending, like nothing changed. He went right back to normal. Like everything I just liked that everything just went back to normal. And it was just like a perfect setup for a great movie, I thought.
Yeah, I thought they started it off pretty well setting it up. I mean, the people who, like, if you're, and, I'm going to continue to do this all the time on the shows, but, like, if I'm the studio, I'm thinking about who's going to see the film. Obviously, everybody who's seen the show and likes the show, they're going to see it. Also, like the girlfriends of all the bros who are dragging them to the theater to watch it because they're like, I saw 50 Shades of Grey for you. You're coming Entourage for me. So that's kind of like, you have to put in that Piers Morgan part because, like I said, you got to kind of bring people up to speed. Also, It's a good way to, make sure people aren't, deterred from seeing the movie because they're like, I don't, that excuse kind of goes out the door because once people see it, then you can kind of say like, oh, you don't have to have seen 8 seasons of the show. So I thought that was good. Let's see. So the overall movie, I liked it. I thought it was. Now I'm like losing it a little bit because I've seen
so many
Mad Max
movies.
I've seen both Mad Max and Jurassic World since. Those are pretty full course meals.
Yeah. I have to quote one of my friends at Mike Alves, who is quoted as one of the best quotes I think I've ever. The best way I could have put it, because we were talking about Avengers: Age of Ultron and Jurassic World, and he's like, the only issue I had with them is that I saw Mad Max. And from now on, I am judging every movie that I see against Mad Max. And it's not fair to them, but that's how it is. And it's so true, because it was such an amazing film. There's not enough good things you could say, but we could do a 3-hour pod just about Mad Max.
Yeah. Visually arresting, Mad Max was. I was sitting...
Exhausting, almost.
I had the best situation, too, and I think I was, like, snapping you up. I didn't have work that day. It was like noon, maybe on a Tuesday, like 2 weeks after the film came out. So I was alone by myself in the theater, just sitting in the middle of the back row, just like loving every minute of it because I didn't have anybody distracting me. I didn't have anybody else's like chuckles or scoffs or whatever to bend my opinion of the movie. So I was in heaven watching that flick. But Entourage.
Entourage, yeah.
I thought it was going to do better than it did. It didn't do well in terms of what they were kind of projecting and hoping for. It still made profit because I think the budget was like something stupid, like really like under 10 mil to make the movie or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I bet like probably 50%, more than 60% of that movie was probably cameos, like they had to pay for, because that got a little excessive.
Yeah. I would like to actually check to see what the budget was, but it did. It made, up to this point, it's made $32 million. I'm looking at it right now, and that's
it.
That's it. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that's not great, especially when the Minions movie just made 115 over the weekend like that. So totally apples and oranges, but in the big scheme of things, you need movies to do real well. I would have thought that would have cracked at least like $75 million. But like total, not first weekend, total. This 32 is what it's made since it's been out. So that's not necessarily a win. But
No.
the plot of the movie, right? Was kind of surprised to see that they just gave Vinny Chase a backseat. They're like, we're all set. We're gonna make this about other things, which was kind of strange.
Yeah. I mean, I still posit that the entire series of Entourage is about E and not about Vince. He's the main character. And even in this, I don't think he really was. I loved his storyline in this. I thought it was perfect for him with the girl, and it's just E on drugs was one of my favorite things I've seen in all of Entourage.
Yeah.
It was great. But it got a little heavy on the drama storyline. Though I love, drama's my favorite character, but I love the way that it ended with him. But I do think it was weird to see Vinny in such a backseat role.
Yeah.
I think you're 100% right.
He was riding the pine hard for people to start in terms of drama or E or even Turtle. Felt like he had more going on with Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey did 100,000 times better in this than she did in Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. Big time. She looked like Meryl Streep in this one compared to her last showing. And then obviously the rest of it is dominated by Ari and getting the film financed and everything like that. I'm trying to think of stuff that I was laughing out loud about, and it's not coming to me very quickly, but that's not fair. That's not an indicator of the film. It's just a lot of stuff has gone on since, but I also have a problem with this movie just in the sense that it came out too late. The film came off the air in 2011.
The show?
Yeah. The show came off the air in 2011, and we're in 2015, and we're finally getting it. I think that really hurt it.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Because if we got this 2 years ago, if we got this the summer after we graduated from school in 2013, I think it would have been just the right amount of time. People would they've seen it. It's been off the air. There's been people who have heard about it from people who watched it in live, in time, and have watched it too.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm looking at the timeline of the Sex and the City, just because I just based them off of each other because they're carbon copies.
Oh, yeah.
So Sex and the City ended in 2004, and the Sex and the City movie came out in 2008. 8. So a same 4-year gap. And then the next Sex and the City movie came out in 2010. So we should be looking forward to Entourage 2 in 2016 or 2017. We could be.
You're not off track because I heard Doug Allen give an interview. Doug Allen, the director of the Entourage movie / creator of the show, he was pretty adamant about being interested in writing the sequel. And when I heard that, I was surprised because I was like, "There's going to be a sequel to this," and I hadn't even seen the movie yet. I hadn't seen the movie. I was like, "Why would there be a sequel?" But in his mind that was going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen now. I haven't heard anything over the internet or anything about whether it is or not, judging by its lackluster performance at the box office. But
but you balance that against what you said, a super low budget to make. It's profitable. So, I mean, if it's profitable, you think you could turn out a good product and the fans still want it? The diehard fans are still going to go see it. They're going to.
Yeah. I mean, if you do it again, I'm going to go see.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's also co-creator of Ballers, right?
Doug Allen? I don't...
Oh, no, not Doug Allen. Never mind. Have you been watching Ballers? Ballers is...
I watched the first two. I didn't... First two? First three? first three. I didn't see last night's.
It was pretty good.
I hate it.
Oh, you hate it?
Yeah, I hate it. And
We're gonna hate it.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go in a bunch of different directions, but I think I talked to you about this maybe over text. Yeah. I don't like that The Rock is not good at his job as a financial asset manager. He's like learning on the fly, which is kind of cool and realistic, but The Rock can't pull that off. Like The Rock can't pull off being like a vulnerable like guy who's learning as he goes and flawed in that kind of a sense. His persona, his whole brand and aura is too big to ever like not be in charge or know what he's doing or taking on the world or whatever and succeeding at it. So it feels so weird to me that I'm watching him like sometimes get talked down to by bosses.
Yeah.
And that feels kind of strange to watch. I also don't really. These things are ensemble comedies, and I don't love those other guys.
No, the James Harden dude is.
You know who that is?
Wait, yes, no, I do, but I don't remember. I looked it up and I was like,
surprised.
Really, it's him?
Denzel Washington's son.
Yes.
Yeah. He's okay, but he's like, it's probably unfair to do this show, but I think of this as like HBO's new like solution to no Entourage is this show.
Right. This mix of Silicon Valley.
Right. So I'm like pitting these guys up against Turtle and it's not hard to be Turtle. Not that Jerry Ferrera does like a really good job, but like you can write a character like that and have them be like interesting and entertaining to watch. These guys aren't even fun to watch. Like that guy and the other guy who like retired too early and is now like pushing Silverados at the Chevy dealership. He's not that compelling to me either.
Oh, he compels me. I love him, dude. Why do I like him?
Yeah,
I shouldn't have, and like, you know what I mean? Like Charles Green. He's Charles Green. Only when he's I don't know. I just think I don't know. I think you need to give it a season. You watch 2 episodes isolated. I mean, granted, they should be able to catch your attention and keep it. So if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fair. But I'm going to give it a season. And if it doesn't wow me by the end of the season, the last couple episodes I thought were pretty. There were some good parts to them. I just think it's going to be very formulaic. Like, oh, we're fucked, and we're going to pull it out of our ass right at the end. You know what I mean? In terms of something bad's going to happen, like assault charges or something. I don't know. But I see what you're saying about the ensemble cast. My thing with the ensemble cast is I don't know who to really invest my energy into like learning about, because I don't know which characters are going to stick around, which characters are, going to be the secondary characters, like the publicist in Entourage, who's not like a main character, but she's around all the time.
Yeah.
So like, I just don't know really what's going on yet. I don't know. I think it's definitely number 3 of the 3 new shows that have come out. In terms of True Detective, The Brink, and Ballers. I'm a big fan of The Brink.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything of it yet, but
it's so stupid, and I laughed for 25 minutes. It's great. It's great.
I would get behind that more, I think, than I would the Baller stuff, just because if it's stupid and it knows it's stupid, and it's Jack Black doing that really well, which he does do really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, Jack Black's not even my favorite character. My favorite character is Tim Robbins. He kills it. And he talks to like an Aaron Sorkin pace, and he's just so vulgar and so like just brash. I don't know. It's great. It's great. I haven't watched any True Detective.
Oh, I was supposed to rip open a can of worms with you then.
You can. Feel free if you want, but
I don't want to taint your or not taint, because that's a negative, but like give you any sort of you know, Pat's take glasses before you actually see it with your own eyes. But
I'll take some Pat goggles if you want, because all I've heard so far is that it doesn't live up to the last season.
So we're 4 episodes in. It's an 8 episode season like the last time. And the actors are great. The actors are really good. Colin Farrell is phenomenal. Taylor Kitsch surprised me a little bit. He's done real well for the most part with what he's been given. Rachel McAdams is nasty. She's really good as this kind of a hard-nosed badass cop. She's like leading the task force.
So she's in charge?
Kind of, yeah. Which is cool. They all have these like weird things about their personalities, and they're all sexually related, which is kind of strange.
What do you mean, like the Eskimo brothers?
No, no. Like everybody has something like weird sexually going on with them. It's not gonna. Oh well. Yeah. Well, like two people like I can say without it like ruining anything for you, but like Vince Vaughn's character, like he can't. Him and his wife are having trouble having a kid, so he's like shooting blanks or whatever, right? So that's related. And then Rachel McAdams, like the first thing you learn about her is that she likes to be. She's like a very strong woman character personality on the force, but like one of the first things you learn about her is she likes to be dominated in the sack. And and then you see that kind of like manifest again in little different spots in the episodes since. So that's kind of another like weird sexual thing that is in the background of these characters' upbringing or personalities or whatever it might be. And then there is one for Taylor Kitsch, and there's another one for Colin Farrell. Yeah. Colin Farrell is the best on the show. But he's like 1A to McAdams 1B. Like she's right up there too. And that's been cool to watch.
But there's no like Rust Cole. There's no like Matthew McConaughey really steals the show.
No.
Okay. That's fine. No. I don't need that. I want to know what I'm getting into.
The writing of this season is not what I expected, and I'll leave it at that for the most part.
Okay.
And I'll give you the only other thing that everybody else is complaining about, which I don't care about that much because I'd almost rather it be this way. But everybody's like, it's so slow, like we're watching nothing for so long, and then something
typically HBO.
Yeah, and then something sort of happens, which I don't care. Like I don't mind. I want to watch these characters interact and like talk in the car and whatever and have that stuff go on. The best parts of last season were when Rust was talking to Marty in the car, just like basically philosophizing or whatever. Just waxing. And Marty just look at him like with a side eye, be like, all right, dude, well, that's not really going to work out that well for you. And there's not, they're trying to do some of that a little bit. It's not as prevalent. There's also 4 main characters, so they're juggling more. But I did like in the pilot, they basically, all these people are separate. But by the end of the pilot, they're together, which was good. I was happy to see that because I didn't want to do separate for too long. That'd be too much. That's spinning too many plates in the air. So it's definitely worth checking out as soon as you can. And you're not far behind.
I wanted to give it a little bit of a cushion so that I could power through them because
this might have been perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch last season's until after it was all done, and I watched it in like 2 or 3 sittings. Like I watched them 3 or 4 at a time. So, and if I had to wait a week in between every one of those episodes, I would have probably done something drastic to somebody that I didn't know well. So maybe that'll be good for me. So there's that.
Yeah, I did the same sort of thing. I think I had let the first 6 go by, and then I had heard like enough people say like over the internet or on Twitter talk about it. I was like, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to start watching it. So, but you know, 4 episodes in might not be bad, especially with kind of what happened at the end of last night. So,
Perfect.
yeah, True Detective, that's out there. What else we got? Do you want to touch back on Jurassic World? I know we did a little bit of this over the phone this earlier tonight on the pre-pod.
Yeah.
Pre-pod, like we're so organized, and we're not at all. But
all that statistics. We
yeah.
crunch the numbers. We put in the man hours.
I'll tell you what.
Deliver to you.
One number that's etched into my brain is 208.8 million, which is the number, crazy. The domestic box office number that Jurassic World accumulated in the first opening weekend, beating out the first Avengers, which was 207.1, I believe. Mm-hmm. Which I was a part of that number, which I was pretty kind of, it's silly, but I was kind of like, oh, cool, I'm a part of that 208.8, which is such right. It's such a sheep thing to say, but it's historic, and I mean, it's pretty sweet. That number 208.8, I'm wondering if it's going to get beat out in December when Star Wars comes out.
Interesting.
I don't know if it will get beat out, just because of the perfect storm that was that movie opening weekend. It had all the right stuff. It had has still. It had the nostalgia factor of Jurassic Park. Basically, Jurassic Park is Star Wars for anybody who was born by like 1985.
Okay, I'm gonna put up a Venn diagram, a finger Venn diagram or not Venn diagram because I can't do this.
I was gonna say how you can.
nostalgic factor goes up for both of them because this will be Star Wars, this will be Jurassic World.
Oh, okay, I see what you're doing.
You're gonna get nostalgia for both.
Well, this one's gonna be
Monsters. Wait, what? This one's gonna go off course?
No, I'll let you. Throw yours in. Monsters.
I mean, monsters. You're not gonna get monsters in Star Wars. Well, you might get some aliens, but anyway, you continue with yours.
I'm not going to do that too. I'll let you do it. That's your thing. Chris Pratt.
Yes.
The biggest movie star on the planet right now, and appeals to all demographics. Literally everybody. Kids like him, guys like him, girls like him, even like your grandparents like him, because he just has that way about him. I don't know what it is. He's just gifted in that sense. So he's the biggest star on the planet right now. So him spearheading the whole movie, that really helps, because they're like, oh, who's in it? Oh, that Chris Pratt guy that we really liked from Guardians? Yeah, sure, let's do that. So him is a big force. What I say? The fact that nobody else was on that weekend. Everybody moved off the weekend. All the other studios, they were, for whatever reason, they're like, oh, Jurassic Park is going to be June 10th or June 12th or whatever the date was. So we're probably going to stay off it just because we don't want our movies to take a hit. And it wasn't even like an Avengers level stay off this movie date, because like we talked about on the pre-pod, this was estimated to make like, I don't know, like 115, 125, something like that. That was its like best estimates. And it ends with a whopping 208.8, which is out of this world, obviously. Out of nowhere. Nobody expected that to happen. So they knew it was going to be a success, but not the whale of all whales. So that's a contributing factor to the fact that, that was pretty much the only game in town. And what else did I have? It just got so much, it got really, really good word of mouth. Really good word of mouth. And it's one of those things too, like this is what everybody strives for in the media industry and film and TV, definitely. When something becomes like a topic, a cultural topic that you can't not be a part of, that is so important for a film like this, because all of a sudden it's like you're at the water cooler, and if you haven't seen Jurassic World, just like get away from it.
You got to go see it.
Yeah.
How can you talk to us if you haven't gone and seen it? Oh, go see it tomorrow. See it tonight. See it. You should call in sick today. You should leave. Yeah. Go see the matinee. Catch the matinee.
What are you still doing here? Yeah. So when things become like that, it's buzz on steroids. It's a whole new level. So it's like Game of Thrones has gotten there for like a TV example for the most part. But I think that's also a big part of it. But 208.8, that's a monstrous number. And
they proved that those things, those factors that you spoke of, a male lead that everyone loves, granted, without even seeing his performance, they already love him. They're already on board with him. Great word of mouth once they see the movie. The nostalgia and all the factors that we just discussed add up to outweighing basically three or four main characters you don't even care about. I guarantee 70% of the people who watch this movie don't give a flying fuck about those children, because they should have died. They would have been fine dying in my mind. Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard, yeah.
Howard. Didn't love her. Didn't. I like that when when they were like deciding to track the dinosaur, he's telling her how it's going to be so difficult. She like ties her shirt into a knot. She's like, "All right, I'm ready to go."
Yeah,
like that's so silly. But in spite of, it wasn't even her performance. I mean, she was written a little sillily, but her performance and those just two abysmal children, like I feel like they tried a lot to pull from the first movie, to pull from the first Jurassic Park movie. In a lot of ways they did. And some of them worked, some of them didn't. Kids didn't, in my mind, work at all. Like one of my, like as we talked about before, like my favorite part with the kids was when the older brother was just fucking all those girls. The younger brother's having like an emotional breakdown next to him, and he's like, "Just deal with it, dude. Mom and dad are getting divorced. Like, grow up. It's time to grow up." And he's like, "Dude, you're at Disney World, and you like are so happy, but you're so emotionally conflicted, and the only person you can talk to is just breaking your balls because he's like a testosterone-ridden douche." Sorry, kid. Like, it's better than, I guess it beats Tony Stark.
I'm gonna throw you for a loop. I enjoyed the older brother more than the younger brother.
Interesting.
Yeah. I kind of liked how accurate he was, like, because that's when you're that age. I don't know. Maybe this is like a personal problem, but when you're that age, sorry, when you're that age, like that's kind of, and it's funny because I have a younger brother who would not be the same difference in age, but similar. And for whatever reason, and I watched the movie with my little brother. So I was kind of like, maybe I'm biased because I was juxtaposing myself onto that character. But I thought that character is so true and pretty well written. And he's just like he's full of, all he wants to do is, not be on this stupid vacation in his eyes, and and run around and like, discover girls like he's discovering, and is probably annoyed by the fact that his parents are getting divorced, and kind of resents the fact that he's the one who has to translate it to his younger brother.
Yeah,
which I can kind of relate to. Not that my parents are divorced, but they're not. But just having to be that like bridge is
translator.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a lot of weird responsibility that you don't sign up for as like a 15-year-old.
I guess, but I mean, like the first time you meet him, he's like talking to his girlfriend, and she's like, "I love you, I miss you, I'm gonna miss you so much," and his dad's like, "Hurry it up," and you're like, "Oh, they have this cute little like preteen love thing going on," and then like the next scene, he's just like literally ogling all the girls, and you're like, "Oh, he's a douchebag." I get it. Like that's fine.
He comes around by the end of it, but
well, near-death experiences have that effect on
yeah,
people.
you kind of have to. You're kind of forced to do it. You can't be like, oh, I'm not impressed by like the pterodactyls that are picking people off next to Starbucks.
You come here often? Like, see this shit?
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah.
You want to get out of here and make out?
Not a big deal, right? Yeah.
The pterodactyls. I like the pterodactyls with like the T-Rex heads. Like, did you notice that like half the pterodactyls had like these like teeth?
Because they were more like genetically modified monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The raptors were sweet. Vincent D'Onofrio. I couldn't tell if I loved him or hated him, which probably means I loved him.
Are you talking about his acting performance or his character?
Both.
Okay.
But his take on the character, like I felt like it was very Kingpin from Daredevil.
Okay.
But like just more aggressive and less like self-conscious and freaky.
Never like under control like Kingpin is. Yeah.
Right. And he was just like out. I thought it was very over the top, but I mean I liked it. I loved BD Wong being in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the coolest scene
was kind of the real villain.
Would you say?
Kind of, yeah.
He was kind of taken though. I mean, if we're gonna spoilers, he was kind of taken against his will at the end.
No, he bailed. That was with his boys. Those
soldiers. I thought they were like working strictly for D'Onofrio, and they were like, "We're leaving," and he was like, "All right, fine, I guess."
Yeah, because this is their thing. Like that was the move behind the scenes was D'Onofrio and Wong or whatever his character's name is, were in cahoots and like working towards building the Indominus Rex and kind of. I mean, D'Onofrio's play was much more weaponize the Raptors, but in order to do so, they needed the field test of letting the Indominus Rex get out of control.
Right, but I feel like they also wanted the Indominus Rex to be a weapon because they made him to be the perfect weapon because like the whole like thermal imaging, it can evade thermal imaging, which was sick. Camouflage, smarts, all the different things, and it's part raptor, so he could talk to the raptors. Like you definitely want to throw one of those in with the raptors if you're throwing them into a Iraqi town or wherever the fuck he was trying to throw them. He mentions it. He's like, "When you drop one of these on a civilization, they're all fucked." I'm like, "Whoa, Jesus!"
Yeah, we're just gonna throw these into Fallujah and let them run.
It's like, fuck, dude.
Kind of dark. I will say this for that movie though, and we haven't even like gone into our opinions of it or whatnot, but it did like honey dick me in the sense that it basically I should have seen stuff coming that I didn't for some reason because I was like drawn into the spell of the movie, which is good. That means the movie's doing a good job entertaining you. But like when these things happened, I was so mad at myself because I didn't like think that was what was of course going to come next. Like, of course the thing is mixed with raptor DNA. Like I didn't think of that at all until the last moment when you're not supposed to think of it, and all of a sudden the raptors turn around because they've just communicated with the Indominus Rex when they're on the line, and they just go crazy. I was like, "Mother!"
And Chris Pratt goes, "There's a reason they didn't tell you what's in it. That thing's part raptor," and you're like, "Oh no!" Yeah,
and which I mean, maybe they didn't telegraph it at all, but I was pissed at myself because like I should have figured that out. That was bad, and then I didn't even think of the fact that at the very end, when they're trying to take down the Indominus Rex, I totally forgot about the T-Rex. I totally forgot about the fact that, well, they should just go let the only other biggest thing on the island battle it. I totally forgot about that too. And then, of course, Bryce Dallas Howard lets out the T-Rex, and of course, they're going to fight. Of course. Like, what else are we going to do? Yeah.
How are you not going to have the Godzilla fight? Like, you need that.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought it was kind of cool too. Like, my favorite parts about this movie were the dinosaur fights, seeing the park and the resort in all of its glory. We talked about this a little bit. I thought that Chris Pratt's character was pretty cool because it was a mix of what looked to be the personality of both Dr. Grant and Dr. Malcolm. He was kind of doing both of those things and balancing them pretty well. But back to the monster fight, the dinosaur fight, I liked that the Indominus Rex was a man-made genetic combination of what it was fighting in the T-Rex and the Velociraptors separately. So I thought that was cool because it was kind of like, as much as these things can be scientifically accurate or not, like nature's built opponent on one side and man's built opponent on the other side. So I thought that was clever. That was good.
Yeah, and like the man-made one would have beaten any of the naturally occurring dinosaurs one-on-one. But when you put all of nature together, nature finds a way, or what is it? Life finds a way.
Yes, life finds a way.
That's from the first movie. Life finds a way. And yeah, when we were in the theater, like you said, well, I don't know if you called this out. I tried not to scream this out loud in the theater, but like when they were having that big fight, and then the camera just turns and shows you the water, I was like, "Oh, the water!" Big ass thing comes out.
Didn't see that either.
Oh, I was so happy about that. That was the cool part. That was right when the brothers started to turn around. When the thing came up, grabbed the thing, then they went underneath. That would be a great attraction at SeaWorld.
Yeah. If everybody didn't hate SeaWorld right now.
Right. If SeaWorld wasn't the devil.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely a turning point for that older kid. I mean,
the movie, it had some plot holes. Like, it had some things but it fought them. It did a great job hiding them. Like, this young kid is supposed to be some sort of genius, which they kind of just throw in there in passing. And
he doesn't, like, flex his muscles at all as one.
No. Well, except, like, hey, remember that time that we fixed Grandpa's truck? This is a truck. Let's fix this.
This is a truck, yeah.
Right now. Let's get it done in 10 minutes before Chris Pratt shows up.
Which is coming in like 5 minutes, so we better get out of here.
Yeah, we got to get going. I liked all the nods back to the original movie, like that banner, the dinosaurs ruled the earth, the T-Rex bones, the T-shirt. I want that T-shirt.
She was like, "That's kind of in bad taste." And he was like, "Okay, I guess I won't wear it tomorrow and the next day."
The day after. Yeah. I liked the girl. I couldn't tell if she reminded me of. Was that the same actress from like the original Spider-Man trilogy, who was like his neighbor?
Are you talking about the mother?
No, the girl who worked in that office with that guy, who like at the end when he went in to kiss her, and she was like, "Oh no, I have a boyfriend."
I don't know. I don't think so.
She reminded me of like a diet Chelsea Peretti. Not to say that she was like skinnier than Chelsea Peretti, but like a less funny Chelsea Peretti.
I know what you meant. Yeah. But the viewers might not have. So
yeah, Chelsea, I think you look great.
Shots fired.
Jesus. Anyway, yeah, but like even when I was watching it, I was like, okay, so this is happening, but I was fine with it. And then I was, like you said, is completely engulfed in the next scene.
Yeah. So that part with like the park technicians, like Nick Johnson's character and the other girl that you were talking about. Sometimes there were parts of this film where it was trying to do the same things as the original and just kind of fell flat on its face. Like in the original, Samuel L. Jackson is the freaking like computer guy. Like that's ridiculous. Just because we know what Samuel goes on to do and become, but they got Nick Fury like opening the gates in the park, so that's like a big deal, and it's hard to replicate that. Even Newman there, yeah, like he steals the original movie anytime he's on scene.
Right.
Dobson, we got Dobson. Nobody cares. Yeah, every time he's on the screen, like he's money. So I think they were trying to like manufacture that a little bit too much with Nick Johnson's character, at least. And then also, which we talked about pre-pod, my issue with when the kids are driving up to the gate and it's pandemonium everywhere, and the gate attendants are like, "Huh, you don't see that every day." But no jokes. Open the gate. Like like the audience is supposed to be like fearful for these kids' lives. Like we're supposed to be nervous about what's going on at the rest of the park. And these two idiots, like the Muppets in the high tower of the theater, are just cracking jokes. So I had a problem with that, and I think that might have been sort of trying to be more than it needed to be in that moment.
Yeah, you have a long-standing problem
I do.
with too much humor in movies.
I do.
The background characters don't need to be funny for you. You only want your humor coming from one place and one place only.
And it's Tony Stark. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I get it. I agree. And see, all this whole last, probably 10 minutes we've been talking about this, I have zero problems with Mad Max.
Yeah.
Which is why it is the best movie I may have ever seen.
Yeah.
Barring Return of the King, it's maybe the best movie I've ever seen. Or Raiders of the Lost Ark. Wow, this is going to be tough for the rest of my life.
Whew. Yeah.
Anyway.
See, like I'm not even like I try to know as much as I can. I do a lot of extensive internet trolling and researching to know as much as I can about movies and shit. But I'm not even smart enough to have a problem with Mad Max. I'm not good enough to know what they are. They might not even be. I'm sure there are some things, but I don't know what the fuck they are.
Like even the things that I want to like poke fun at, like are awesome. Like the fact that, and I believe we're transitioning fully into Mad Max right now. The fact that the guitar player who is strung up on that car and plays like the movie takes place over, I believe George Miller said 3 days.
Yeah.
It takes 3 days for that movie. He plays basically a 2.5 day set without stopping because he's just playing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the soundtrack. Like he plays, his riffs are part of the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And when they fight, it's built into the soundtrack when Mad Max fights him. And I loved it.
Incredible. Incredible. Like on all fronts.
I might buy that. I might buy that soundtrack.
I really, really, really like Tom Hardy. He's one of like top 3 my most important people working in terms of my attention span.
Mm-hmm.
Charlize Theron, forget it. She was awesome. She basically was the main character.
Mm-hmm.
And was really good. I mean, I was hearing people throw out, let's do a sequel for Furiosa's character.
Yep.
Which is cool. I really like the way Tom Hardy delivered that whole performance because he didn't even like say that much at all. And he kind of understood his role as it developed as like background or like a tool pretty much for Furiosa and the girl's survival, which is really cool because you don't have to you have Tom Hardy. Usually a lesser director would be like, I've got Tom Hardy, I got to use the hell out of Tom Hardy. But George Miller was like, this is how we're going to use Tom Hardy as almost like a compliment or as a plot driver instead of a main focus in a lot of senses. And that's what we're just going to do. And it really pays off.
Right.
It's an awesome bit of acting and filmmaking. So one of my few favorite things was when they would what would they say anytime they thought they were about to die in like witness me. Yeah, and then the Crow. Yeah, I'm just gonna start screaming "witness me" at people anytime I think I'm gonna. That's how we should have started the pod. That's
how we're gonna end the pod.
Yeah, witness us. I thought, that was pretty funny. Nicholas Hoult is the actor who's that
so great.
Whoever that guy is. I don't know if he was even given a real name, but he was great too. We don't have.
Yeah, I mean they were all great. Did you ever see the original Mad Max movie?
No,
not Road Warrior, the first Mad Max movie.
I've seen Road Warrior. I have not seen the original.
It's not as good as Road Warrior, but apparently the guy whose name is, damn it, something Joe, in this movie,
Oh,
Alunius Joe or Indominus Joe.
yeah, I almost said Indominus.
Uh,
We're gonna think of it, but
Mad Max Fury Road. So apparently that is Immortan Joe.
Morton Joe.
Is the toe cutter who was the main villain in the first movie. So it gives a little continuity. So in the very first Mad Max movie, the villain's name is the toe cutter.
Right. Okay.
So apparently that's him all these years in the future. He's just taken over because he was in charge of this like motorcycle gang.
Yeah.
And he's the one who killed Max's wife and son or daughter. Ooh. Max has like a little Punisher background.
Yeah.
And he's called the toe cutter, and apparently he's the toe cutter. Which I heard that after I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, that just makes it so much better. I didn't need any continuity, but they threw it in there, and I got a little bony.
That's cool. That makes it even cooler. I didn't even know that part of it. I just want to sidebar you so fast to say John Barenthal as the Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's anything better that's come out in the past little while than John Barenthal as the Punisher in the coming. He doesn't have a show on his own, does he? Punisher?
No, he doesn't. He's not getting his own show, but he's going to be he might be the main villain, or he might just be an anti-hero in the second season of Daredevil.
Okay,
because it's going to have Bullseye, Punisher, and Elektra.
Barenthal is tops. That guy is ridiculously awesome. And I only thought of it when you were saying that Mad Max is like a Punisher background. But yeah, I mean, I remember hearing when Mad Max premiered at Cannes, and people were like, other filmmakers in the theater were like getting up and saying like, how did you make a movie like that? Like, how did you do that? With all that, all those gears turning at once and all the practical effects and everything like that. The friggin' motorbikes jumping over the dunes and
the grenade spears and the fucking hedgehog dune buggies. Oh,
or like the vortex of sandstorm hell that they had to drive into and like get out the other side of.
I think that might have been computer generated.
Oh. Was it? Yeah, that was definitely computer generated. Yeah, I wonder where they shot that. Yeah,
I wonder how did you get that to happen?
Do that? That was perfect timing. It was like an apocalyptic weather pattern there that you just took advantage of. But yeah, it's great. I need to watch that movie like 3 more times before I can really, really appreciate it too. I think.
Yeah. And that was the movie that I got nervous and I like really had to check myself on like addiction, because I was like, I could see myself going to the movies and spending like $70 on seeing this movie a bunch of times.
Yeah.
In IMAX. Like I didn't. I only saw it the once, and I'm proud of myself for doing so. But on your point from before about Tom Hardy kind of playing second fiddle to Charlize Theron, I think, and correct me if you know that I'm wrong, or if you think that I'm wrong, I think a lot of that had to do with George Miller kind of wanting to not try not to pit Tom Hardy's Mad Max against Mel Gibson's Mad Max, because I love Tom Hardy, but he's not going to be Max in a lot of people's eyes. Like right off the bat, you're not just going to be like, oh, he's James Bond. Like it's James Bond where it's like just different actor, same role. Mel Gibson made that role and he made those movies. Like, I think that was a big reason of why, like the whole first act of the movie, I don't think he says any words other than that like internal monologue he has when he's like, they haunt me. And then he's captured and then he's on the car and then he still never really talks. He just kind of grunts and points with the gun, and until he starts talking to Charlize Theron later. But yeah. I think that was a big, big factor in it, was kind of trying to just say like, we're giving you a Mad Max movie. It's fucking great. try not to break my balls that Mel Gibson's not in it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I think it's fair. Yeah, that's a good way to downplay the transition of recasting. Yeah. I guess it's technically recasting the character.
Yeah.
And just like making everybody really okay with it once they're in the theater.
Right, because it's not a reboot either. It's a continuation.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it was. What else can you say? It was handled perfectly. So it's just, and then everything else since has been good. It's really important, or at least to try to kind of go into each different movie as with a blank slate or not juxtaposed against the last thing you saw.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going back to Jurassic World. Excuse me.
You all right?
Yeah. Shit. Going back to Jurassic World. I remember that I was listening to a critic or somebody say that one of the smarter things that to build the hype machine for Jurassic World was to play all the old movies prior to the release date of the Jurassic World film on the parent networks of NBC, Comcast, Universal, which was like USA had it on like nonstop leading up to it, which is smart because you want to build up people's anticipation, and they're like and it executed really well. But after the fact, I agree with some of the people who I was listening to say like, don't watch Jurassic Park and then go see Jurassic World, because they're not the same, and the original is the original for a reason, and it's better than Jurassic World, definitely.
Yes.
So I think with that in mind, that's sort of similar to the Mad Max thing, where George Miller kind of totally takes that element away by kind of portraying Max in this sort of fashion, because he's not even giving you the opportunity to kind of say like, well, Tom Hardy compared to like Mel Gibson, like they're different and it's not the same, and I'm not happy about the way he doesn't even allow for that dialogue to even happen. So I thought that was smart. Mad Max was ridiculously awesome. I'm definitely gonna need to see it 100 more times when it comes out. I mean, you can go online right now, but I'm sure, but that'd be illegal.
We don't do that here.
We don't condone that. But kind of a segue. Actually, you know what? There's a lot going on with Warner Brothers in DC right now.
Oof.
A lot.
Oof. That might be a separate pod, dude.
You think so? It might be, actually.
I mean,
oh, yeah, shit.
but hey, I mean, fuck it, I'm game.
So over the weekend we had Comic-Con, and Marvel kind of decided, no, we're good. We're not going to. And I have a theory about this that relates to the Star Wars theory that I'll say right now, of why we didn't see a lot of Star Wars at Comic-Con either. We saw a little bit, not a ton.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Disney is more interested in dropping bits of news and announcements at what they do at D23. For those who are not totally familiar, it's like basically a mini Comic-Con only for Disney that Disney puts on itself. So I think they're looking to drop more of their headlining newsworthy stuff over there than at Comic-Con. I mean, I think they want to feed the beast a little bit at Comic-Con, but they want the best stuff to be D23. So I think we should see some little bits of Marvel to roll out over there, and also more Star Wars stuff to roll out over there too. I don't think we have a full. Do we have a full trailer for episode 7, or did we just have a teaser?
We got the teaser.
Okay.
I think we got a full trailer, didn't we?
No, I think we only got the teaser because the full trailer kind of historically trailers indicate kind of like the movie and like the plot of
Well, the one that ended with Han saying Chewie we're home. That was the teaser. You're saying?
Yeah.
I would be happiest if that was all we got. I'm unlike you. I don't
I
love
know this is your thing. My
thing.
Yeah, you hate.
I hate this whole
Yeah.
This whole industry that's become like, let's find out everything we can about the movie before it comes out so that it's not as good.
Yeah.
What I want Disney to do is be like, okay, we're going to give WB all the media coverage they want. They can just launch any. I think they've been over marketing the Suicide Gang. Personally, I can't wait for the movie. The trailer was sick, but I'm not looking up any more spoilers or anything else until that movie comes out. Mm-hmm. And same with Dawn of Justice. It's going to come out every 3 weeks. Like, oh, look at this new shot that we found. Oh, that. If Disney would just allow that to happen with Warner Brothers and just be like, okay, we're just going to sit back and it's coming. Like, we've already told you our lineup. Like, these are all coming. We're just going to make them and then you're going to see them. Because I think that would work way better because look at Phase 1 compared to Phase 2. All the movies in Phase 1, no one knew they were coming really, and they killed. Phase 2, not as much other than this. I mean, Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy. Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy. But like, I feel like the general consensus of Age of Ultron was it was kind of a letdown, and I loved it. I mean, I loved it, but
do you feel as if Joss Whedon was kind of let down by the movie
himself?
Yeah,
maybe.
I had this weird feeling that Joss wasn't wild about like what it became and what it ended up being.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of hand tying that went on toward the end of it, and if they wanted him to do more, like he was going to have to be kind of told what to do and
studio involvement.
Yeah. Like when I say hand tying, like his hands were tied, and that's really not his scene. So I think that I think he wouldn't have put out a movie that he wasn't fully behind.
Of course, yeah.
But I think there were definitely things he would have. I mean, I don't know Joss personally. I would love to.
Would hope to.
Would love to. But yeah, I don't know.
That's a bit off.
What?
I was saying I kind of threw you off a bit off track a little bit, but I do agree with your thing about how it could be smart for Marvel just to kind of sit back and let DC like do a lot of, trumpet blowing and fanfare and everything for their own properties, which they have to do because they have to keep up.
Right.
And it would be smart for Marvel just to like kind of sit back and, even with Star Wars, sit back a little bit and just let the hype machine grow itself, which it's what it's going to do anyway with this type of a property. And then, kind of the delayed satisfaction is almost just as powerful than anything else. So, but I still think they're going to give us a trailer. They're going to give us a trailer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, we're within 6 months now of the film coming out. We just got like, a teaser. Well, we just got a full trailer for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and that's not coming for another 9 months.
Right.
So, I mean, they're two different studios, but we're within 6 months, and we haven't gotten the trailer for Star Wars yet, which is an interesting move. Also, probably partly due to the fact that they don't want to cannibalize what's going on with Marvel this summer in between Avengers and Ant-Man, which is about to come out this Friday.
Correct. Oh wow.
Yeah, we're getting.
Am I gonna see? Are you gonna see that opening weekend?
Probably not opening weekend.
I don't think I am either.
I need to be like told or hear like good things about it, and I have been slowly hearing like positive things, but I need to know that it's totally worth the commit.
You
Before
have little faith. Let me
I
tell you
am-
what. You have seen, and so you believe. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe.
Hmm.
A little
That's true.
action at you because my roommates are watching Noah.
With our girl Emma Watson.
She's in Noah.
Yeah, dude. She's
I would have to watch Noah tomorrow.
You're like, pod's over. Click. But okay, we don't have to go into a ton of this DC stuff, but
I let's talk Batman Superman.
okay, the trailer. Yeah, you know my position on the teaser. We talked about it when it came out.
Yes.
Fucking hated it.
Same.
Yeah. What did you think of the trailer?
I thought it was so fucking badass. I almost called you Mike. Pat, I thought it was tight. My one of my roommates pointed out a shot-for-shot take from the Dark Knight Returns comic. I believe it's the cover of the comic, right at the scene where Batman's on the ledge. He's about to grapple away, and he's in that pose. Like that's the pose he's on in the cover, and he just flies away, and the heat vision hits the fucking spot where he was just standing. I think it's going to be a badass fight. Personally, I could do without the whole Dawn of Justice thing. I just want to see the Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
But that's we're getting what we're getting. So, the only thing about that trailer, I thought it was so badass. The only thing about that trailer was Jesse Eisenberg. Not sold. I remember when the first teaser, the first teaser came out and all the pictures of him bald came out, and like you were like, I don't know, and I was like, no, dude, give him the benefit of the doubt. He's gonna be sick. He's gonna be sick. After seeing this, I am fully on your side, Pat. I'm still I'll wait for the movie to see how he actually is, but he looked like he was trying to be like, I don't, for some reason, I got the impression that he was trying to be Woody Harrelson playing Lex Luthor, just from the wig, really. But he just looked so silly, and I could have done without him.
Yeah, we're in agreement on this. Like, I thought he was doing like a weird, like, I'm a corporate version of the Joker type of thing. It was kind of throwing me off. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
yeah,
like being real, trying to be like overly witty.
Yeah,
and but I know there's an element of that has to exist. Here we go, right back to my thing. I don't want people not funny to try to be funny.
I don't need you to be funny. I just need you to be good.
Yeah, and it didn't totally like jive with me. Like that part. His hair is like so weird. Obviously, his hair is like out of control. Just for us to see like the dichotomy of when it's just totally not there when he's bald, because Lex Luthor is bald.
Oh, that's a wig. He's wearing a wig.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then all the same. So I don't know why that's happening.
Why would you wear that wig though?
Yeah, it's strange. Like I think I texted you this. Like I think of Lex Luthor as being far more like intimidating and certainly more menacing than this. And I don't know if this guy will be able to get to that level at all. I don't ever on no planet would I expect, Ben Affleck's Batman or
Henry Cavill Superman.
Yeah, Henry Cavill Superman look down at Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor and be like, oh shit, this guy, we're gonna have a problem with this. No. Not ever.
No, not once.
On no planet will that be a problem for them. But it's supposed to be, which is weird. So what you said about Dawn of Justice, the Dawn of Justice element of the film, we're getting what we're getting, like you said, but I wish we weren't getting it. I don't need to see Wonder Woman in this. Don't need that.
I'm fine with Gal Gadot. I'm fine with it.
Also not okay with Gal Gadot being Wonder Woman. But I just don't need her character like thrown into the fire with this. I think there's enough going on.
Yes,
With,
yes,
like,
there is.
There's enough going on with like Superman as a god, having to assimilate him into the public's trust / Bruce Wayne after 20 years of Batman, wicked jaded and like basically just frustrated at all times and annoyed by anything that's not just easy for him anymore. And those two things are plenty. That stuff will drive the plot. That's fine. I don't need the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman thing in there.
And we're also going to get Jason Momoa as Aquaman. We didn't see him in the trailer, but he's going to be in the movie too. And I'm pretty sure Ezra Miller's Flash is going to be in it too, isn't he?
Maybe. Ezra Miller, I was very cold on being the Flash until I saw him, and I'm still kind of cold, until I saw him in the trailer for the Stanford Prison Project, or the Stanford Prison Experiment, maybe? It's one of the two. The new trailer of, if you haven't seen that, that's like worth seeing. And I'll shout it out really, really quick to anybody who might be watching. It's this like cool true story of the college, the Stanford College, basically doing this psychological person experiment where they get a bunch of volunteers around the college campus, these kids. They're like, okay, do you want to be a guard or do you want to be a prisoner?
Yep.
And like they split them up and they just put them in this like mock prison just to see like human behavior, how it goes down. And then it like really goes wrong. And
it goes fucking wrong, right?
Yeah, and the guards think they're actually guards, and the prisoners are like treated horribly all of a sudden by these guards because the people who are running the experiment just like let them go for a little while. And we got to stop this because these people are like, the prisoners are being like fucking brutally emotionally,
and they're turning them into actual criminals.
Yeah.
Didn't we see this recently? Like, I feel like I've watched this on film. Was this a Law and Order episode about this? Because this is a real thing that happened. That's based on a true story.
I'm pretty sure it's a true story, but the trailer is only really recent, and Ezra Miller is in it, and he plays a prisoner, and I thought he looked really good from what I could tell. So if he can, I'm still worried about the Flash, but I'm less worried about Ezra Miller as a performer. So because Warner Brothers is calling for my opinion, but I think the Dawn of Justice thing. There's a lot of. I think this movie would be so much cooler if it was like the origin of Batman and Superman, like their relationship, and that's it. But you can't do that because this is chapter 1 of their Avengers, basically.
Right.
They have to flush it out.
Fuck that.
Yeah, they have to flush it all out. They have to make everybody show up. They have to set it up for the next like 8 or 9 films or whatever. And it's a lot of responsibility. It's heavy, tall task for them to be putting on this film, which is something that worries me.
Right. Now, I've got a question for you followed by a theory. Which is coming out first, Suicide Squad or Dawn of Justice?
Dawn of Justice.
Okay. That kind of quashes the theory. But what if this is going to be similar to like they're going to take from the kind of Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns and say like, so like let's say Joker kills Jason Todd, like Joker kills Robin, and that's why Batman's kind of retired, and then he happens to be in Metropolis and sees Superman fucking shit up, and he's like, oh, I can't retire just yet, I gotta come back. Like, if that would have been cool if like that was what the Suicide Squad was going to be about, and then that paid off into the Dawn of Justice, but it's not, so never mind.
Right.
I think it's gonna be I think there's a very good chance that it could get Spider-Man 3 crowded with just heroes and heroes and heroes and heroes. But that trailer looked fucking tight, and
I'll tell you my favorite thing about the trailer. Well, I have two favorite things, and it's specific to both of the leads. My favorite thing about the Superman aspect of the trailer was the shot when he's like saving people from a flood, and they look up, and he's just like basically floating in like some angelic god.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I heard somebody say this or I read it in a comment or something, but somebody said, which really clicked in my head, that's what was missing from Man of Steel. Like that sort of feeling or sentiment that he was there to do that, or like people need to look up and see a spectacle of wonder personified in Superman. And if that element is in the new Dawn of Justice, then cool. I'm very interested in that. Also, really funny like pep talk from Martha Kent, Diane Lane, just telling Superman like, be a hero, or be their angel, or be a monument, or be none of it, and because you don't owe these people shit.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, okay.
I like that.
And then with the Batman stuff, right? I'm on record on this, maybe on this pod. If not, I'm about to be. But I'm on record as my favorite thing is to watch good people become bad people, and it stems from like watching. Best example is Michael Corleone do that in The Godfather, or
Walter
White do it as Heisenberg in Breaking Bad. That's my favorite thing of all time to watch. And if there a little bit of that happens with Batman, I'm in. I'm interested in that because he just looks like so jaded, and like it's probably it's coming from a good place. He doesn't want this awesome unchecked power in Superman to be running around just fucking shit up. But he looks like kind of like a bad person a little bit, and I'm really into that if that's the case. If that's kind of a big part of this Batman's personality.
Well, not even bad, but like even Jeremy Irons just says in the trailer, like it turns good men cruel. I like that. That was my favorite line in it, because it's like you're not a bad person. You're not even turning into a bad person. You're a good person. You're just turning cruel. Like
yeah, he said rage turns good people cruel or something, and that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, and I like that. I don't know if it's gonna pull from like the whole. There was like the Tower of Babel, or there was the cartoon Justice League Doom, where Batman basically has all these plans, like contingency plans for each member of the Justice League. And in the comic, it's Ra's al Ghul. In the cartoon movie, it's what's his name? He's going to be the bad guy in the DC Heroes of Tomorrow show. Fuck. Whatever his fucking name is.
Flash bad guy or something?
He's not a Flash. He's ancient. He's immortal. Whatever the fuck his name is. Anyway, they steal those plans and they end up implementing them, and they all work. Like he doesn't trust anyone. So like he's got a kryptonite bullet for Batman, or a red kryptonite, and he's got like this whole psychological thing for the Green Lantern. And like, if that's how he's gonna be in this universe, I'm so ready for it. Like I'm ready for just a dark Batman who trusts fucking no one.
Well, here's my favorite thing about hopefully what's going on with Dawn of Justice, but is what's going on with the standalone that got announced. Batman standalone that's been announced. Which, have you heard of this?
Affleck's going to direct.
He's going to direct it and be Batman, obviously. But he's doing this. He's running it with Jeff Johns, who is the like chief creative officer or whatever of DC, and someone who's, I guess, written a ton of the Batman comics and had his fingertips personally all over the source material. So, which is probably could be a reason why that shot that you were talking about with him using, one of his utility belt guns to kind of swoop away while he's fighting Batman, like that could have been a Jeff Johns thing to kind of give that to the fan base. But if that stuff is in there, we're gonna get more of a DC source material driven Batman. Sweet, I'm into it. I sometimes wish it would be so dark. Like all this DC stuff seems to be like so shadowy, just for the sake of being shadowy at times.
You mean like the actual cinematography of it?
Yeah, and like Marvel, they stake out this corner of the block where things are like lighthearted and smart alecky, and things are done in the daytime. But we just watched this whole trailer, and it's like half of it is like happening during a rainstorm or in the dark or whatever, and it's just kind of a downer, which is cool too. Like I personally love dark stuff, so but sometimes it's like breaking the swear button if you by using too many swears. Like I'm worried they're using too much of that stuff, but who knows, we'll see. And the only other thing that I'm going to say, why am I seeing the Waynes get killed again? Why? I don't
think you're seeing the Waynes get killed. I think and I mean I've watched this trailer about 13 times, but I think it was saying you killed your family, meaning like because that was supposed to be Wayne Tower, or the Metropolis is Wayne Tower that got destroyed by Superman in the fight with Zod. So maybe like the people who died in there, like you did this to us. I don't know. Maybe not. Did we see the Waynes get killed? I mean, you're always going to see flashbacks. It's a Batman movie. If Pete Holmes, I'm going to shout out to Pete Holmes right now. If Pete Holmes has said anything right, it's that, and I'm going to do my best Pete Holmes impression for you, which is not very good, but
I will know the difference, so please.
I was a boy, and now I'm a bat. Like, that never goes away in Batman. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to send you a link to that video. It's like Batman versus Superman, Badman, it's called. So funny. He's got a bunch of those sketches. They're so funny. But, like, just the psychological trauma. Like, and one more thing. I don't know how Ben Affleck's going to be Batman because I'm Batman. I've been Batman for the last, like, 3 weeks. I've been playing Arkham Knight. It's amazing. And in that game, they make a joke, like, how many billionaires does it take to make a superhero? 3. 2 to die and 1 to never get over it. So there's that. And we might be frozen. So I'm going to kind of sway back and forth, stick and move. I don't even remember what we were just talking about. Something weird's happening. If it's just me, let me say that this is lovely. This is... Uh-oh.
Yeah.
There he is. There he is.
That was super weird. Sorry. Jesus. Yeah, it just went like, I don't know, it went white on me. All of a sudden, everything was totally gone to shit, but I fixed it. So,
yeah.
Sorry, that interrupted your soliloquy there.
It's okay. I don't even remember where it left off.
Pete Holmes.
It might have all recorded because mine still said live. But basically, just the psychological, like, how many billionaires does it take to make a superhero? 3. 2 to die and 1 to never get over it.
Yeah.
So it never goes away, Pat. You're never going to get away from it.
I guess so.
No. I went into a whole little thing before I realized you were frozen about how I don't know how Ben Affleck's going to be the Batman because I'm the Batman. Because I've been playing Arkham Knight for the last, like, 2 weeks, and it's an amazing game.
Interesting.
Yeah. But hopefully that didn't get recorded.
Probably did. With your permission, I guess he's going to have to take up the cowl.
Yeah, it's fine.
Other than that, that's going to be March. Suicide Squad's going to be August.
Okay.
Deadpool is going to be, I think it's next year. I think it's next August or next
Definitely
next
2016.
summer too. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to come out before or after Apocalypse.
We can kind of finish it. I don't have much on Deadpool.
Oh, TJ Miller in that Deadpool trailer.
Yeah, he looks funny. I was very surprised. I knew they were going to be an R-rated flick. I didn't know that they were just going to go all out with it, which is good.
I'm so happy they did.
Yeah, might as well go for it.
Yeah, I think, and I know you're not a huge comic person in terms of like actually reading comics, but I think you need to get some Deadpool comics and just treat yourself to some Deadpool comics over the next year. I might like get some and mail them to you. Force read them to you. But yeah, he's the perfect side character in a Deadpool movie. My only thing with Deadpool is, and they didn't show it in the trailer, I don't know if they're going to have his kind of like internal monologues, because he's got basically 3 voices in his head, like his physical voice and 2 like mental voices that kind of just argue with each other. I don't know if they're going to be able to portray that, but from what I saw in the trailer, they're going to do a great job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm glad that they have Ryan Reynolds doing it, because I think he's perfect for that. I don't know anything about the villains or anything that are going to be there.
It's not really about the villain. It's just about him, really. I mean, I don't really know what story they're gonna use. It seems like an origin story for some of it. I like the fourth wall breaking already built into the preview. The first thing that I heard that like really got me going was when he said, "Just don't make my suit animated and don't make it green."
Yeah.
So great, great, because Green Lantern was such trash.
Yeah.
And funny, to call that out right off the bat, so perfect. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's a movie I think I'm gonna just like want to steer clear of knowing anything about before and just like sit down and watch.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be happy to see that. But that kind of reminds me a little bit. I'm gonna ask you this: do we know what the hell is going on in Suicide Squad? Like, I feel like those characters are just like, we're just watching them do stuff. I'm not sure if there's any real point of them at the moment, and I don't know what it will be either.
No, I mean, we know it's going to be some mission. We know it's going to be like a suicide mission, and we know Batman's going to make an appearance, at the very least a cameo, because he was on top of that car. But other than that, we don't really know anything.
Mm-hmm. Because I keep thinking of it as like, this is their Guardians of the Galaxy, but I feel like they're trying to weave this into the inner workings of the rest of the cinematic universe more than that. So it's going to be a tool to drive the whole world forward, I guess, but I just don't know how, like in what way. I will say this though. One of the cool things that David Ayers, the director, he just directed Fury. He directed End of Watch. He's pretty cool guy from the projects he's done lately. He said at Comic-Con, I think, he was on record of saying, like, I'm sick of seeing good versus evil, and I'm much more interested in bad versus evil, which is kind of cool and interesting. So if that's kind of the overall philosophy of the movie, then I think we're in good shape.
Yeah. I think it could there's a small chance that it could turn into a light Batman movie. Like, he could be a huge role in it, judging strictly by a recent Suicide Squad cartoon that I saw. It's called Assault on Arkham, which you should look into. It's fucking amazing. But yeah, the good versus evil, bad versus evil is going to be sweet, because he's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree fully with you.
Yeah. We're gonna end it like on this. What did you think of Jared Leto?
Okay. We've been talking about this since this came out. I think he looks terrifying. I love the laugh. I like his voice. I like the pronunciation of the word bad. When he's just like bad. The B in bad, that got me. I am one of the only people that I know so far that actually enjoys the like silver grills. Because most of my friends think they look stupid. My thing with it is, why does he have the tattoos? The tattoos I could do without, because the Joker's not going to tag himself. Ha 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 ha. That's like something he tags on like a wall or on like a dead body. I don't think he would. Like, he looks like a cosplayer at Comic-Con dressing as the Joker.
Ooh,
not as the Joker himself. But I think he looks very menacing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Those are all valid points. I didn't think of the cosplay thing is interesting. I thought that his physical appearance is fine for me. I think he looks like almost like a strung out, psychotic person in real life, and not as much like this. This guy looks like he's more drenched in reality than we've seen him. Obviously, more so than Jack Nicholson's version, and even Heath Ledger's for the most part, because this guy just looks like
a psycho.
It looks very in line with the Suicide Squad whole kind of aura. Anyway, he just looks like a psychotic person that you'd find running around the streets of anywhere here, just to an extreme. And also, in the same effect, Harley looks kind of in that same vein. So I like that this is like a palpable Joker that you could actually see happening. I could see this happening, kind of more. It's so ridiculous to say, but that is one thing that I took away from it. The laugh was great. I think this is a physical role too. When you're playing this character, you got to have like the big like hand motions or just the body language, body movement. So I think he's already got that too from the first few things that we've seen. I think he's going to do well. I think it's going to go good. It's going to be. I want to be able to say by the end of seeing him do it, talking about him and Ledger, it's like apples and oranges. They're just, you can't even compare the two because they're two different awesome takes, and that's what the only thing you can chop it up to. So hopefully it'll be something like that.
Agreed. I do. That changes your idea kind of changes my perspective on the tattoos, because if you are thinking about him as like a real person, like in today's day and age, like a psycho like that would be, I guess, covered in tattoos. But yeah, I don't know. Like a real person, I stick by my original thought. But I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying
too. Like, I wouldn't have guessed him to tattoo "ha ha ha ha" all over himself. Like, I would see him tattooing that on somebody else.
Right.
Like forcing that onto somebody else, not on himself.
Right. And so his scene in the trailer of Suicide Squad, he had like what do you call it?
Electroshock therapy.
Yeah. He was about to fuck somebody up. I wonder who he was talking to. Because like his line is, "I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really, really bad."
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's like Amanda Waller, or if it's,
that was my first guess.
Yeah, it could be her. It could be also Harley. It could be the Batman. It could be Jason Todd.
Is he a part of the squad? This is how I think of it kind of right now, which could be totally wrong. But I think of him as like a James Spader of like the Blacklist, like consulting the squad somehow, or like having little to do with them, just kind of on the outside.
I don't think he's not part of the squad. He's not part of the squad. I think the squad is sent to stop him.
Okay.
Because he's certainly not part of it. But if he's not the main objective of their goal or of their mission, he definitely knows of their mission, and he's trying to fuck with them.
That could be a way they bump up against Batman too. Is like Batman's also trying to get him at that point in time for something.
Yep. We will see.
We will see. Should we wrap it on that? We've done a lot of things.
We've covered quite a bit of things today.
Quite a bit of things, and
from Entourage to Comic-Con.
Yeah, wow. And there's still plenty. We even talk about the new Spider-Man stuff, but we won't. We can save that. What do you do?
Spider-Man. Fuck Spider-Man.
Yeah. Anyway, at least there won't be an origin story there.
Thank God.
All right, well, that'll be that then. This has been a midsummer movie heat check here on Hey Lady, You Call Him Dr. Jones. Back at it as always, myself and co-host Jake Haddon. My name is Patrick Julian, and it will continue to be. I don't know why I said it so weird like that.
Is, was, and forever shall be.
Yes. And this has been Run the Jewels. So,
witness us.
Witness. Oh, yeah. Witness me. So, that was that, people. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon. And yeah, take care.